What up, what up, what up? It's Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which means it is time for Lolz, and I am particularly excited. Last week we did a best ball draft. Tonight we are on the cusp, the eve of our first Showdown NFL slate of the season. Brian, are you getting amped for some football?
Yeah, I am. It's a lot of work trying to get ready for it, but football's great. Football's a great DFS sweat sport. The fields are enormous. Everyone likes it. You know, it's awesome.
I know. It was funny because I was going in to start registering for a few contests, and just every prize pool seems so big to me after, playing all of the other niche sports. And I was like, holy cow, it's just like 50,000 up top here, 50,000 here, just all of these pretty nice prize pools.
You have to keep in mind too that it's a lot tougher to win because there's so many entries, and we only get 17 cracks at it basically. Yep. If you even consider some of the late season ones legitimate.
The only I mainly was regging for some of the Showdown stuff tomorrow, but I did get in that $200 bargain bin rake free one, single entry. Did you get in that?
I didn't. Did it fill already? I'm assuming pretty fast. I didn't see it for Sunday. I haven't registered anything yet. I saw someone tweeting about that I was close to filling, and it was already close, and I nabbed a spot in there. But I generally last year that I had played the spy regularly. I liked the power sweep, but the $200 single entry with no rake was right up my alley. Yeah, that's anything with no rake. If you could do that all the time, that helps. Speaking of no rake,
I was literally going to do that segue, and you nailed it.
Fantasy draft, the DFS site went under, I guess, a week ago.
Oh, maybe? Sorry. I thought you were actually going to do the DraftKings best ball fiasco, but you were talking about fantasy draft.
Well, fantasy draft, their strategy for a short time there was no rake DFS, and they didn't have any rake. They just had a monthly subscription fee. And in my opinion, I probably should have touted them up a little bit more, but they were the best site to play for pretty much anyone at any skill level, I thought, because it was just so the rake you save there. A lot of recreational players don't understand how much money they lose just in rake, and it just kills any shot they have. And they tried that rake free model, which saved me.
Yeah.
Like 90% of my rake probably. And it was expected, but obviously that didn't work. That was the site I was talking about during the COVID break of, maybe one of these sites won't make it. That was the one I was talking about. And it turns out, I guess, that probably had something to do with it. I wonder if they'd still be around without COVID, because that probably cost them a ton. They went rake free. They were trying to tweak that, and then COVID happens, and there's nothing they could do.
Yeah. Yeah, in those kind of the smaller sites, they can, I guess for a lack of a better word, they can survive in a bull market, when there's all kinds of action, everything's good. But I could definitely see them, being on the short end of the stick. Like if I'm an indicator for a casual player, I had, put some money on fantasy draft. I had been, or super draft. I'd been wanting to get over to fantasy draft, and, you just sometimes don't get on over there. And I think that probably happened for a lot of people, and it's tough for them to market and kind of carve out a market share with DraftKings having such a big presence.
And I have to take an L on this, where I had a lot of money in there, and they bank wired me a couple days later, and I got it. So they did pay out, and I was saying how the L I might take is on how I was saying the state wouldn't help, right?
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that the state was the reason that they did separate their funds. And I don't know if everyone's gotten paid, but I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But it probably did help. But the reason I won't take a full L is they also had to pay these fees to get regulated that probably could have kept them operating for another who knows how long if they didn't have to pay. pay anything. So I don't know. I really don't like it. I don't like the sign of it. I don't like it because I thought the site was great. I don't like the sign of it for like DFS because we need competition.
Yeah.
And
We don't want the monopolies.
Yeah, and they were the third biggest one for sure. And getting bought by Monkey Knife Fight doesn't really tickle my fancy. I mean, I've never gone to their site. I know they do some sort of prop bet. Like you pick props, and then it's like DFS with props or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's kind of a shady operation from what I've seen and some of the research for how they set their lines and the way they churn through new users. So definitely be careful over there. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what their plans are for. Yeah, if they plan to keep it running or if it was just they were buying an email list.
They're buying an email list. I would put money on it. There's no they Fantasy Draft probably couldn't get anything, and they were probably the highest bidder.
Yeah. It's definitely a bummer. Hopefully, like you said, some other sites can continue to pop up and carve it out. Yeah. When speaking of the other rake catastrophe, before we dive into talking some football and showdown, I was pretty busy yesterday and kind of missed it. And people were referencing I was doing a draft, and I went onto Twitter, and it was as it felt to me, it felt like Black Friday at a Walmart with just people going crazy, fighting each other, getting these incredible values in these best ball drafts. What was your take on the situation? You obviously plugged in, but not playing in that contest last I heard.
No, yes. This is the most like viewing of best ball I've ever had in my life because of you mainly. You do like 15 shows a day. It's hard to not like catch a little bit of best ball every day. And I saw the tweet storm. So what happened was they weren't going to fill their best ball Millie Maker, and so they just released I think it's just a blanket free ticket for every user they have. And and then so like the lobbies started filling up insanely quickly, and all the guys who put in time getting in their 150 are all pissed off legitimately because these are going to be recreational players who don't know what they're doing, and so it'll be easier for you to win your league to get in the playoffs if you waited this entire time. So
yeah, and I think obviously that is crummy in and of itself, but the double dick punch is that their user experience was so bad with no notifications, where you're getting timed out to guys that aren't even on your queue. I was doing a few of them trying to chase some of this overlay, and it's like, you're doing it on your phone and you're picking on the turn, so you got 5 or 6 minutes until you pick next. You tab over to something else. Next thing you go and you got Darius Geis, who's, not even basically in the league anymore. And it's like, this is not a fun experience.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. And then so not only that, so you did that 150 times because you're a plus EV guy and you're chasing this overlay, which was going to happen. It's just like, it's so brutal. Like if I thought there was going to be overlay in the underdog one, and that was my reason for doing it, at least my user experience was enjoyable. I had fun doing the drafts. Yeah. I can imagine coming out of that as a chore and then getting kicked in the balls like that.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it where it would piss you off, but I also get it from DraftKings side where they're like, well, it's a free opportunity to give away a free marketing promotion to get people interested in our best ball product, and I'm assuming they're going to do it throughout the year. They'll do weekly best balls.
Yeah,
and they were going to lose that money either way.
So here's a question for you on that, and thinking of competitive balance. So a couple examples. One, well, first of all, on these high stakes drafts, these FFPC drafts, they have a draft moderator in all of those rooms. So if 5 buddies tried to register and they thought 4 guys could just tank the draft and build one super team for one, they flagged that and they would cancel that draft and refund the entry fees. And then another point, underdog, I do these randomizer drafts where we're building silly teams. We take ridiculous players early on. And they asked me, and I think rightfully so, to do it in their private 12-man leagues, just siloed off individual leagues for that very point of, so the rest of the league members weren't able to build teams way better relative to your standard draft. So what is your thought on that of a site's onus to kind of maintain a competitive balance across those contests?
Well, I mean, I don't want the government involved in any way or fashion. So I think it should be on the company to, and like fantasy draft going under is not good. Underdog coming in is going to help, right? And so just more competition for sites that would do that is the way I would want to solve that problem. But of course they should monitor as best they can from that happening. And that kind of happened in poker in the early days too, right? There was a lot of like guys multi-entering poker tournaments who couldn't, like some big profile names too. Like you're only supposed to have one entry, but they would like, there was a glitch on PokerStar software where like if you double click fast enough, you can get in like 2 or 3 entries. And, guys just doing different usernames or using their wife's account. I don't know if you've heard of that strategy. And they eventually got better at it.
If you're going to mention him, you might as well say his name.
Those are allegations. So I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about Tanner Tolbert, I have no evidence of that occurring.
You just reminded me, I've never told you this story, but like you just reminded me with the wild, wild west days of online poker. So when I was in high school, so this would have been 2004 in the summer, I was obsessed with poker, and there was this site called Pacific Poker. And every time you registered a new email address, you'd get a play account. But like every 10 to 15 registers, you would get actual $10 of Pacific Poker money in your account. So me and my buddy are just creating accounts just over and over and over. And like, you didn't have to verify the email. So we're just doing this. And then then they had a threshold where you couldn't cash it out until you got to like $200. It was like a 20x rollover or whatever. And so that entire summer was just us creating Pacific Poker accounts, running up these things to $200, and then having checks sent to us. And my mom is like, I think I ended up getting like 3 or 4 $200 checks with all my like stabs. And my mom's like, you better not have given your credit card. I was like, Mom, I don't have a credit card, and I didn't give them yours. So that was my wild, wild west days of poker, is with no money and no credit card, getting Pacific Poker sending me $200 checks.
I played on Pacific Poker, and I mean, my buddy did something similar, like I think around the same time, no, probably a couple years earlier, on like Full Tilt. And it was the wild, and doesn't this kind of feel like the wild west? Yeah. I know we're getting a more mature market here, but the giveaways and the launch of this half-ass product compared to draft.com or Underdog, from what you say. I haven't used Underdog yet, but it's still wild, wild west. So hopefully they just get better at it.
Yeah, we got Alex Bakur in the YouTube chat says, OMG, Pacific Poker was even easier than Best Ball last night. That's a throwback, Pete. The real ones remember Pacific Poker.
No, the real ones remember Planet Poker.
I'm not real. I don't even remember that one.
That's for the old geezers. Yeah, that was like the first original online poker site I played on there when I was still living in my parents' house.
So where are you on so Max Cooper says, were they bots? There's no way real people are picking those people. This is definitely the siege theory that he's floating. I mean, you see some really weird picks. Nick Foles go in the first round. Do you think that these are just clueless users who have never done a fantasy draft, or that something fishy might be going on?
Well, it might be a combination of the two. I mean, I didn't use it, and so I used my ticket like earlier today or something.
I need to hear this story.
I was watching something on YouTube. I'm like, I think this is about an hour. Okay, I'll do this stupid draft, and I'm getting my Brady stack going.
Uh-oh.
I got Godwin and Evans,
Yeah.
I had number one pick. So I got McCaffrey, Godwin, Evans. I think that was the top three.
Nice start. Yeah.
And so I'm watching the YouTube. I come back, and like you just said 5 minutes ago, there's no notifications. So I missed, and I was first. So it double picked my guys.
David Williams and Geis?
No, but it was Tyler Lockett and somebody else who I definitely wouldn't have taken.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. All right, fine. Next one comes back to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get Brady in. I don't remember what round it was. It was probably too early, but I'm like, I just want to lock in my stack.
Yeah, lock it up.
Who cares? It's free money anyways. And you have to like go into the software somehow and say I'm back. Even though I had it
turn off the auto draft.
You have to turn off the auto draft. And so it auto picked my two picks, and it was Darius Geis. Geis and some other piece of garbage. And I just went, close the app. Fuck you. So like Nick Foles doesn't make any sense in that scenario, but it's definitely guys who haven't used it. And the app's so bad that some horrible teams are going to be drafted. But Nick Foles in the first round so bad. And the cheating strategy, although it never surprises me how bad cheaters are at hiding that they're cheating.
Yeah.
You would think that they would be a little smarter than that.
Yeah. Yeah, just to play it a little bit.
Like even Trubisky would be smarter than that. He's a starter, but like
at least he's starting.
At least he's starting.
Well, here's my thing of, I understand why everyone is upset. And to me, it doesn't have – this is all avoidable if they update their ADP regularly. So Underdog pushes it out once a day to where you could go in there, Brian, and just hit auto draft. And sure, your positional allocations might be kind of wonky, but you're not going to have any egregious picks because you're just going to get the top guy on the queue, which the market has already set in real time. So DraftKings letting people get Geis and Damian Williams and guys who aren't going to play a down, that's just a bad user experience. In all of this, competitive imbalance could completely be alleviated by just updating your ADP.
Yeah, no, I mean, so that would do like two things, right? It would make it more fair for the guys who drafted earlier. Yeah. Because like the auto draft and all that stuff would be taken care of and the noobs would just go down the list anyways. But for an edge, if you're looking for an edge, like then I wouldn't want it. Like I'd much rather have them have to look through and pick their guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My buddy Anthony here, seems like they didn't even explain the contest they were giving tickets for, people drafting like it was week 1 DFS. I agree too. Like I knew what I was looking for, and I even found how they categorized the teams like in the lobby, that contest, and the way they had like multiple drafts open at a time instead of like you just register for this contest, and when it fills, like just the fact of how they displayed it, I think was very confusing for people, and they made it look like they were these individual 12-team leagues that were for different contests as opposed to just one big contest. I don't know. I think it was a disaster on their part from a user experience level.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no other way to describe that being a disaster. But I mean, on like the moral front, I don't know. Like I feel like it sucks for the grinders who entered 150 2 weeks ago. But like if this wasn't a complete disaster like this, like you want for an edge, you want it to be hard.
Yeah.
You want the ADP to not show up. You want to be able to use the app better than they can, things like that. So I don't know, like, and I don't mind them giving away money. I mean, obviously it sucks in this situation, but if they want to just hand out free tickets to people to get them interested, it's good for us in the long run.
So here's a question for you, because I heard, explain to me the dynamics of this is there hope in giving out free tickets that then you get the itch and register with your own money for subsequent ones? Is that their game plan? I
mean, I don't work for DraftKings marketing.
I'd ask you to put your business hat on.
That's what I would guess. Yeah. I mean, I think they give it to like losing players. Yeah. And players they think, I'm sure they have some semblance of method more than this one, more than just a blanket. I imagine whoever was registered, they gave them a $20 best ball ticket.
Absolutely wild. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on here. We have some prop bets for tomorrow. I'm going to pull up. Brian has just one of the most confusing tables I've ever seen in my life. I mean, talk about, it's just impossible to decipher what's going on with this thing.
I did leave this one with the old formatting. Normally I just put just the 5% or higher, but I knew you were gonna fucking give me shit on that too.
I feel like every time when I hop in the like replies on one of these, there's always just like one follow-up question of some sort, just a little ambiguity. Today, someone was wondering about the Bovada one I saw.
Yeah. Well, they said, which book is it? I said it's under the book column. Red Rivers DK.
Everyone, I want you to join me in this bit of just being utterly, completely confused by this chart and replying with questions to help Brian clarify it for you. He absolutely loves it.
I hate when guys put out there like whatever Kansas City, minus 2.5 in the first half or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's easy, but it's like it seems like you're just writing that out, dude. It seems like you're like our buddy John Kelly had one yesterday, I think, or maybe it was 2 days ago. He goes, I don't give out lock picks very often, but Boston minus 1.5 tonight.
Yeah.
And I think Boston actually did win. I was like, where's your work? Show your work.
We're a bunch of people that grew up with Bill Simmons and cousin Joey or whoever, cousin Sal. Those guys, you just say whatever number makes sense that you feel in your gut, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind it, obviously, but I would much rather see the work a little bit. But I've noticed these are probably different by this point. I posted this like 4 or 5 hours ago, and it might just be week one, but and I'm looking at props across, the sports books, legal and offshore.
Yeah.
And they're not that sharp. They're definitely not as sharp as the NBA. And they move. They're moving a lot too. So that's why I'm saying these might already be changed.
Yeah, so that looks like your biggest value is for Patrick Mahomes over 2.5 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that I bet it. I bet the over, but that's a huge projection out of me too. So hopefully I'm up to date on everything. But yeah, everything else looks pretty normal. CEH, I got I'm over most of the books too. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, so you have rushing over 59.
So
I got you. 49.5 rushing. Yeah.
So they have it at 49.5 even money, unless this has changed, but we'll just go by this.
Yeah.
DraftKings, any can be provider sports book. The ones I know are Bet Rivers and DraftKings, but there's others in other states too.
Yeah. The thing that's interesting to me about like the Chiefs offense, right, is that if they did want to just pass every single down, like they totally could justifiably do that just with their talent and with Mahomes. That said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's probably going to be in like a 60-40 rushing split, I would assume. How many yards do you have Darrell Williams, the mentor, projected for?
Let me look. I think I have it open. Yes. I have him projected for Darrell Williams 30
yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems right to me. 59 and 30. So I do think I could just see this being one of those games where a lot of the overs hit. It's just setting up. I also think in the battle of good offenses versus defenses or whatever, especially in a shortened off season, it just feels like the good offenses are gonna get the end of it.
It's a big total too.
What is it, 55.5 or?
Well, yeah. What do I got? 32 for KC, 23 for Houston. So
Yeah.
55 right now, or 55 when I last updated this.
Yeah.
And so these NFL opening lines have been up for a while now. They put them up a couple months ago, but I don't know if they opened up the bet size for the pros, the pro sports bettors. So those still could change by Sunday by a few points. They might be sharp. They might be completely sharp by now, but I don't know if they've opened them up or not.
Now, because I'm curious, what is your receiving projection for Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Let me check. Receiving yards and receptions.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just tell you both. 24.8 receiving yards, 3.29 receptions.
Okay. And did Bet Rivers and DK, did they offer any combined yards props for those guys?
Not that I saw. I don't scrape all of their bets.
Yeah.
And they prop bets like come and go. Like they took a couple off the board. Like Pat Mahomes, they had at like 290 and they took him off the board. They had a couple more too that they took off the board, and so like they're popping up. So like right now, I bet there's probably a few more added already. But yeah, I don't see that. I see players to have most rushing yards compared and stuff like that. I could probably add those and stuff, but like it's a lot of work.
What if for your personal bets, what threshold percentage wise for value is it anything in the green you're betting, or do you have a higher threshold?
If I'm feeling really degen, it's anything in the green, but yeah, like 5% or higher. Yeah. Just because, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong on higher than that, but it's a safer play.
And have you been, are you tracking all of your bets?
I mean, tracking my bank account.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things we've talked about too, of like the sports betting experience, with DFS, there's Roto Tracker and there's all these kind of things that make it easy to track your results. But with sports betting, it's like very hard to do. I've even seen, professional sports bettor Rufus Peabody talk about how annoying it is to log all of your bets and track.
Right. And I think on Rufus's show, or maybe Spanky's show, one of them was saying they don't want you to track them.
Yeah.
So they don't make it easy, and it is hard to see. Sometimes it's hard to see who you have going live on some of these sports books. It's super annoying. They gotta change that in the regulated environment, I think.
I know before on a couple of the sites that I would bet on, the bet slip would only show it if it was in like a 2-month window. So if you had a futures bet from early on, you could not find proof that it was an open ticket. I remember emailing support and being like, can you confirm for me that I have these bets open? Because I want to make sure they weren't lost into the ether. Kevin says, Pete, can we prop bet in mass yet? Not yet. You will be the first person I let know, Kevin. Not yet. Anything else after running your projections for this game? And we'll talk about it with Showdown stuff, but did anything else jump out for you?
Nothing besides Mahomes, although I did run it before the show, and I have 308 yards passing now, but not that it mattered. But
who did you update with? Does your projections include Brandon Cooks playing for the Texans or not, with him up in the air?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me look.
I think there's
okay. 45.8 yards receiving and 3.5 catches. So full game.
Yeah, that one will be interesting because he's been missing practice with a quadriceps injury. I assume Kenny Stills would be the beneficiary there, stepping into the 3 wide sets with Fuller and now I'm blanking.
You could also say the over on Fuller is going to look a lot tastier.
True.
Randall Cobb.
Cobb will play the slot, and then Fuller and Stills would probably be outside where Stills would fill in for Cook. So that's definitely something to watch. And yeah, that's maybe a good lean on the Fuller over.
Yeah, you could always do that too. You could project like with a player out or half out, like just half his projection if you really think it's 50-50, and then bet early. And then you could have some plays later on too, because they might take it off the board. Like yesterday with Giannis going out, they took a lot of the Bucks players off the board. But like you got to be careful. There's a certain person in our chat who I believe's gotten limited. I don't know if he wants me to say, but they will limit you betting props if you're a winner pretty quickly. And I got limited on Bovada already. What's it been, like 3 weeks? So what I've seen, Captain Jack Andrews is his Twitter handle. I don't know if you follow him. He's a professional sports bettor. He's been doing a lot of content, really good stuff. You guys should check it out. And he has a video called like the Sports Betting Pyramid or something like that, where he says you need like a certain percentage of bets and other things to like so you'll fly under the radar. And sides and totals are the easiest one because most nobody can beat those, right? So like if you throw a bone on a side or a total, you might fly under the radar a little bit longer, and you don't max out every prop bet, stuff like that. So I've been kind of just betting like $75, $100, $200 big bet, trying to just fly under the radar till I can get like another system going for maybe some of the smaller markets, like MMA or tennis or some of the derivative markets on the major sports. I just don't have the time. So I'm not going crazy with it. But yeah, you can definitely beat them.
Yeah. Do you think, is it something where that's pretty easy for you to do your kind of sports betting process alongside DFS, or will it go to the wayside a bit?
If I get limited, I'm not going to, I'm not going to do it. It's pretty, but it is pretty easy, which is why I do it and post it online too. Because I'm already doing it. So it's just an extra step. It's just like one extra step. So it's not the end of the world. Some days I don't do it because I'm like running behind or something. But to do like a full football Sunday, actually it shouldn't be that hard. I'll probably do that. I don't know if I'm gonna do it every week though.
Yeah. Will you, and just exclusively props, not sides and totals?
No, I can't beat sides. Like you, I don't know who can beat sides. I don't know if Rufus beats sides. He probably can on some sports, like college football and stuff. I think he bets.
I mean, it seems to me from what I've heard, the only way would be just immediately catching opening lines before they move and just having your model set up to predict future lines and just moving really quickly would be the only way I'd imagine it.
Yeah, it's like an arms race.
Yeah.
But even beating those opening lines is not all that easy. And I don't think he does. He has the Massey Peabody rankings. He does those. I'm not sure he bets it though. I could be wrong. I don't know everything about the guy, but I think I think Spanky does it just by changes in the market, and playing the market against itself. Like I think he knows like when one book moves, he hammers another book from being too slow, which you could do yourself too. Who knows exactly what he's doing, but he doesn't do projections at all.
Yeah. And I think in that system, you need to be getting down a ton of money to be able to reap the rewards of those kind of like smaller market movements.
No, you don't. It's not an arbitrage. It's just you could still max bet, with the 2% edge is just as good. As a 3% edge doing the projections yourself or something like that.
Yeah.
He what he needs is a ton of people's accounts so he can bet on them and not get banned or limited.
Yeah.
Which is why he has that whole shop he put together with Chinese Mike is the Twitter handle of the guy who I know that's what they call him, to solicit accounts.
Yeah.
And if he solicited your boy, Cash Out King.
Really?
Yeah, because he could get
a lot of money now.
They'd let Cash Out King bet anything he wants.
Well, I missed the drama on that because I did see a few tweets. How did that go down with their relationship?
How do you think it went down? Cash Out King, I think, was insulted because Spanky said he can make him like 7.5%, and he goes, "I can make that more just betting myself." Wow. And I don't know why he would. I don't know why he wouldn't take it, because he could do both.
Yeah,
like if he has enough money on there, he could just bet Spanky's bets and then bet himself.
What do you think Spanky offers for being a runner like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does like a bot thing.
Yeah, because I imagine, he's like, you're having to. Again, it seems like you'd have to be betting a lot to also pay someone enough and, beat the holds and all that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, it might be on it might be just like everyone shares in the profits. So like, I know he says you got to have like 10 or 20 or 30K fronted. What's the term? I can't think of it.
Collateral?
Collateral, not for him, but for the sports book. Like if you have a bookie in real life, not that I've ever done that, but if you have a bookie in real life, you don't give the guy $200. You call him, you say 200 on the Cowboys.
It's on a tab.
Yeah, so you have to have like 20K tab or something with an offshore account.
Yeah.
So I guess if you just plug a bot, if he gives you a bot, download on your computer to make these bets instantaneously, like what does it matter? As long as you settle up at the end of the day. It's like we made 100K today. Here's the share for all of the users that played, that let me access their account.
Yeah.
I mean, figure everyone should just sharing it. But I have no idea. I'm totally guessing.
Yeah. Spanky, hit me up. I'll make you an offer and we'll figure it out. All right.
I mean, you are
the deposit king. I mean,
now working for Line Movement.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, I saw the announcement to the announcement. I don't know if there's been the announcement yet.
No. Yeah, please don't spoil the official announcement. Only the announcement to the announcement.
Okay, so it technically hasn't been fully announced. So
yes, I will be doing shows very shortly. I believe we're going to do a kickoff show on Friday. In fact, I'll be doing shows on Sunday, a couple shows, a morning show and a night sweat tilt show, and then a Thursday night show as well for Thursday night football. So good transition into talking some showdown talk here. Brian, have you already max entered the Thursday Millionaire?
I haven't. I should do that. It's not even getting close to filled.
I don't think so. 117,000 of 350. Yeah, so it's not even halfway full yet. Have you done, obviously you did your projections for the sports betting. Have you started to mess around with any lineups?
I did a little run for the show. Yeah.
Nice. The interesting thing we were talking earlier, Cody Main at ETR had put up an interesting article about some macro trends. It's an interesting slate in that just like the optimals that I was running, I was just getting tons of Chiefs, which I guess makes some sense. Most of them with only one Texan, a couple with a couple Texans. Have you noticed anything from your builds?
Yeah, I'm actually getting the same thing, even taking ownership into account. And I wonder if Cody's watching. He watches the show sometimes. And I do this every fucking year. I can't remember all of my settings on Fantasy Cruncher. And I thought I had them written down. I just checked my notebook and I can't find them for Showdown, just for.
Oh,
there he is.
Wait, his ears were burning. His ears were burning.
Nice article, buddy.
Yep. But we were wondering why wasn't that behind the paywall, Cody? We got to get you behind the paywall.
Don't give out that good of information for free, man. It hurts all of us. All right.
And the whole thing is Establish the Run is this prestige boutique paywall fantasy site, and then they're putting Cody's research up there just for all these schmucks.
Like you said, everyone just wants the picks.
They just want the picks.
Just want the picks. But yeah, so looking at that article too reminded me. I'm like, oh, okay, let me get my groups and everything in order, and I can't find it, and so now I have to remember all that shit again, and my brain doesn't work as well as it used to. It just there's too much in there, and it just pushes anything like 6 months or older out the window.
Yeah, because and Cody had some interesting stuff in there about how the quarterback, the most popular, when the quarterback is in the captain, the most popular stack is with 3 pass catchers. That is puts you into dupe territory generally. But one interesting way to get unique is with overloading with 4 pass catchers with the quarterback, which actually, just looking at some of these optimals, is playing out a good amount of the time. Although the question is because the optimals are showing that, will that end up being more duplicated than normal, just because the Chiefs are one of the few teams that are kind of intuitive to stack a bunch of guys with Mahomes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't have that too in trying to do a dupe regression formula too. I wouldn't have that in there, but it should kind of be in the ownership sum, right? Like, because if that's going to be the most owned, then it should have a ton of ownership, even though it's a stack.
Yeah.
You would think anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about that. I mean, that's what I did, since I guess it's already on paper. It's, I would do a lot of 5-1s. It's my like main stack. 4 2s. I'd sprinkle in some 3-3s too, but it's a lot like MMA. You don't want to dupe.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, and they still dupe a lot. And you might not win, but at least you don't split, with 270 people or whatever, 700 people sometimes.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Similar when there's a PGA contest that's not a milli maker and we build a lineup for it, how I don't want to win because I don't want to be, Pete 500,000-aire, I will return the money if I chop first place in a showdown contest. It's solo ship or bust for me. I just can't imagine having to share the spotlight with 6,000 of my best friends.
I think maybe 5 dupes or less would be a goal, and I still think you should keep it, Pete. I know you're getting this big line moving money, and you're a big baller now, but
all right,
maybe keep that cash.
If you say so. So let's build a lineup here. Let's build a lineup. We're gonna have to. Do you have your own ownership stuff ready or not yet?
No, I don't.
Okay, I have the Roto Grinders ownership up that we can use as a ballpark. Do we want to try to shoot for that? What was our sweet spot Cody wrote about, like the 125 to 150?
Let me look really quick. Okay, yeah, I was a little over that. I was under 170 is what I was looking at.
I like this. Some good discussion here. So Leone thinks the 5-1 stack's going to be popular, and Amixa says, but not the 5-1 Houston stack. That definitely will not be popular.
Yeah. I had here. I didn't have any 5-0 Houston stacks, but I had 8% 4-2 Houstons.
Okay.
And even on the 3-3s.
Yeah. Max Cooper on YouTube says, if this is anything like your golf lineups, we're looking good. No, Brian and I have turned a new leaf. We decided recently we're going to actually try to win at these lineups we build. It's not just for the lulz.
Didn't we cash our last PGA?
I actually need to look that up.
Yeah. I mean, we're on a streak here.
I want to say that we were cashing for a while, and then
don't look then. Don't look. Don't look.
I won't.
We cashed it most likely.
We did. Yeah.
We're on a 1-0 streak here, basically printing money.
Okay. Let's do this, man. Let's
stay under salary, under 160 ownership and under 500 salary.
Yeah.
We'll do salary as secondary.
Yeah.
Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
And Brian, one thing I really prefer to do with this lineup is I'd like it to tell a story.
Okay.
I'd like it to tell the greatest narrative ever told. And so if you can give me a little bit of, I don't know, literary flair with your picks, I think that would really help sell it.
Okay. Well, I'll make something up as we go.
Are you going to pick us a captain?
Ugh. So, I mean, this is going to shock people, but I have Mahomes as my highest owned captain, but not a ton. I have 19% right now, and I got to redo this tomorrow, but this is what I have just for this little run through before the show. And then Deshaun Watson underneath him, also not surprising. But what about CEH?
As the captain?
As the captain. We're betting the over on him anyways.
Yeah, the C, it's actually Captain Edwards-Helaire is what I call him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I like it. I think Darrell Williams, the mentor, is going to end up being like the uber chalk cheap punt play. So going heavy on Edwards-Helaire at the higher price tag, I think feels right to me.
Okay.
So
you're up.
So if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is our captain, the story that this lineup tells us is that the Chiefs score a lot of points. And if we think Darrell Williams is going to get some rushing work, I do think we probably is it possible to get away from Mahomes?
Sure.
Okay.
Is he really that good?
Okay, actually, let's do this story. What if our story is everyone thinks the Chiefs are going to do it through the air? What if they do it on the ground and it's the Texans coming back in garbage time having to throw a ton because they're down a couple of scores?
All right, I like it. It's a super high scoring total.
Yeah.
And they're projected for whatever I said earlier, 32 and a half. That is pretty unlikely. And also, I have that monster over prop total on Mahomes passing touchdowns.
Well, I just asked you if we could get away from Mahomes, and you go,
I'm just thinking this through. Maybe we're trying to win again, remember?
You're right.
We could do it. Then that means we're going to have Williams in there too, though, huh?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, what? Okay, if they're running the ball all over the place, what is Houston? Houston's not gonna have a lot of time to pass. Since it's a running game.
No, we're probably entering like needing either a kicker or defense from the Chiefs as well.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So we want an under then here.
I think so.
And I have the weather up too, actually. Let me check that weather. It is 60 degrees, 50% chance precipitation, and very little wind, 4 miles an hour. 60 is kind of cold. All right, well, make your pick. Let's just roll with that. Let's just roll with that idea.
All right, I'm going to do it. We're going to double up. That was, I've heard Leone talk about this as well, of playing two running backs from the same team. That doesn't necessarily make intuitive sense to most people. They just want to place their bet on one. But in this story we're telling of a Chiefs route, I think there's definitely paths to both CEH and the mentor smashing.
Okay. Now, could we get a just a solo touchdown catch? So, like, let's say CH runs for 2, Williams runs for 1, and a solo catch.
Yep.
That's still under 32, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then that would obviously be Tyreek Hill. I think we're going to be so contrarian here, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, although the only thing is normally when Tyreek scores, they are the bigger splash plays. Would we want to do a wide receiver like Watkins or Robinson that might get that touchdown without as much yardage?
I mean, then we're going to be like 20,000 under salary cap, I think.
Get unique in this economy. Well, not necessarily, right? If we play like Watson and Fuller.
Okay. I mean, if we're playing one, they're all right. They're going to have to throw because they're going to be down, is what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And Watson's probably going to be having a shitty game.
So we're going. Okay.
I mean, Watson can run too, though. So Watson can run one in.
I think if we are playing the Chiefs like route thing, yes, it's going to be messy, but I still think Watson is, like you said, going to be the biggest scorer in a garbage time type game for them.
I mean, yeah, David Johnson makes sense too. I think he can catch those dump passes. If we're assuming Watson's not going to go off.
Duke is another guy too. He very well could be their kind of full negative game script.
Does he play garbage time?
Well, the whole issue last year was they traded for him and then didn't use him at all.
Yeah, I know. I rostered him a decent amount last year. You know, hoping like for that like 7 catch, 80-yard receiving.
Yeah.
Plus like 40 on the ground, maybe picks up a touchdown or 2, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let you steer us with this pick. Your story. You did CEH. I did the mentor. It's back to you.
I'm sticking with Tyreek Hill then.
Okay.
Just a bomb.
Just a bomb.
81 catch, 80 yards, tutty, and then they're just handing it off after CH gets in there a couple times.
Okay. Then I think I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm going to get, I think people are still like viewing and pricing Will Fuller as if he's going to be the exact same guy as last year. But I think without DeAndre Hopkins, there's a chance that they're manufacturing a couple more targets for him a game, especially with Cooks banged up. He would be the other guy along with Cobb, that might get some of the volume over the middle as opposed to just the deep passes. But I think Will Fuller is going to have a little bit of an expanded role, a little too cheap. Let's get Fuller in here.
Works for me. Play good plays.
That's what we do around here. That's what we do.
We got 16K left. Do we like the kicker idea?
I kind of like it.
Put Bucker in there. See if that suits your eyes.
Oh, it suits my eyes. Look at that story.
Oh, we got a ton of salary left. Oh, Mahomes is available. Put Mahomes in. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we could. Then we're to our 4-1.
Yeah. Then we might be in dupe territory though. Put him in. Let's just see.
This seems dupey to me.
Yeah. How much under are we there?
200.
Let me see if I have that in my 150. And then I got one very close.
Okay.
I have one with the Chiefs in there too. It's very similar with Chiefs instead of Butker.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then I have one with David Johnson and Deshaun instead of Mahomes, and But I actually don't have this lineup.
Okay.
It still looks doopy to me.
Yeah, let's get it. It seems a little too doopy to me.
Okay. Yeah, Watson makes more sense for not being duped, but I don't know about your story that you're trying to tell here.
I mean, to me, the story's still intact, right?
What does he do then during this game?
He connects with Fuller as kind of not only his possession receiver, but also a deep shot, and he rushes one in.
See, the problem with garbage time intervention is like he could rack up a lot of wide receiver points, and then the stat goes the other way.
Yeah.
So like if the Chiefs run in 3 early, maybe they get one bomb in there, and then Deshaun's just chucking the last quarter and a half. Fuller and Cooks and whoever could rack up quite a bit. These stories are hard to tell.
No one ever said being a storyteller was easy.
I mean, I think we're safe on the dupe.
You think we're safe on the dupe? Oh, being 1,000 under?
Yeah, I mean, safe enough. I don't know what the ownership total is, but
yeah, I say I like this story. I like this story. It makes sense to me. Makes sense. Lot on the ground. Hill gets one. Butker's kicking up a ton of field goals, so Mahomes is stalling out otherwise.
So just Houston does nothing, and then a Fuller garbage time tutty.
Yep. But Watson still
they pull Watson after 3 if they're down 3 touchdowns.
That's an interesting one on the opening night. It's possible.
Opening night.
They would have to be getting rammed pretty hard, but that's the story that this lineup is telling. I'm ready to lock it in, Brian.
Okay.
There's worse ways to lose $10.
I trust your intuition. We're on a 1-0 streak, most likely.
I do. We do need to just hash things out. Last time we entered one of these with the Tournament of Champions entry, I believe we were here with Jake Hari. We were having to kind of let him know he could come on the trip to Tampa, but he was going to have to get a cot.
That's right. We don't have that problem. We don't have a guest this time, but we should offer it up to some
FF intervention. If you want the cot, it's all yours. Look at this, $1 million. Can you imagine if we win $1 million with this thing?
That would be nice.
It's done. Yeah, look at FF intervention is ready. He's ready for the cot. We did it, man. It feels, look, we had a lot of fun building PGA and all this, but man, it feels good to build a shitty NFL lineup. I'm right now.
2 millionaires for you. You could probably have a best ball millie for sure.
Definitely, there's one in there. Yeah,
it's 1 million for you.
Yeah,
and then this will be your second millie. You'll get this one first, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will. I won't even stay at the DraftKings provided hotel just because I want to ball out at a nicer one.
Right.
So maybe FF intervention does get the bed. You might be bunking up with him, and I'm at the Ritz-Carlton. Brian, we will know tomorrow by about midnight Eastern time whether we are millionaires. Any final words here as we are on the eve of the football season?
Nope, football's back. Feels good. Good luck, everyone.
It feels real good. All right, guys, we will see you back next week with a full slate of football under our belts, and then we will be talking some more Showdown, some more NFL Week 2, and I believe we even do we have a golf major next week too?
It's coming up.
It has to be soon. All right, guys, this has been fun. Thank you for tuning in to Lolz. Check us out on the podcast feed as well. Subscribe to Brian's YouTube channel. We will see